Why is it so hard to make an anime adaptation of Ao-Oni? So as you may know, a while ago I made a video on the bizarre Ao-Oni anime that was just a bunch of comedy shorts. And for a while, that was the only anime of that game that existed. That's actually part of the reason I wanted to talk about it. One of the things that makes that anime so weird is that it was the first. There was nothing but that. However, a bit later, an animated Ao-Oni movie came out. And this movie... Look, let's just say if I had to watch either this movie or the comedy shorts again, I'd pick the comedy shorts. Now, a lot of you guys did suggest that I talk about the live-action Ao-Oni movie, but as of right now, it is practically impossible to find a version of it with English subtitles. So yeah, can't make a video on that one, but I didn't want to disappoint you guys, so instead we're going to talk about the anime Ao-Oni movie. And let's start by talking about the animation. What is this? Why does it look like this? What is with that guy's face? Why is his mouth a straight line? Okay, so visually it's not the best, but does the plot make up for it? No. So first of all, the pacing of the story is pretty rough. Most of the movie is just the characters standing around talking to each other, having very long-winded conversations. Nothing interesting happens until around 40 minutes of the movie, and it's only an hour long, so it's not the most entertaining thing to watch. And the plot twist? You know what? We'll get there when we get there. Why don't we just go ahead and get into the story? The movie starts in the past with a group of guys looking for their lost friend in the woods of Bellflower Mountain. They find a piece of his kimono on the ground, soaked in blood, and they all freak out and run, screaming about how it's the Bellflower monster. One of them trips and gets left behind. While he's on his own, he sees the Ao-Oni eating one of his friends and he runs. Yeah, the Ao-Oni is not in a mansion in this movie. It's just out in the wild. In fact, there's not even a mention of a mansion. That sounded kind of funny. Mention of a mansion. The entire movie takes place in this school, which I guess kind of looks like the mansion from the game. Anyway, we're in present time at this school now, which is located very close to the mountain from the start. We meet our main cast, the Anthropology Club. We've got Glasses, Weirdmouth, Cutesy Girl, Other Dude, and Protag, because he gives off protagonist energy. You know a movie is good when by the end, I don't know any of the characters' names and I just have to give them my own names based off their appearances. So Glasses is telling the end of the story we just saw at the start. She says that the guy who ran off made it back to town and told the police what happened, but all that remained of his friends were their clothes covered in blood. It's said that the monster of Bellflower Mountain killed them. Then she's like, you guys know about the popular game Ao-Oni, right? And they're like, of course! Yeah, this movie does not take place in the universe of the Ao-Oni game. Instead, the game that we all know is real and everyone loves it. So no Hiroshi, Mika, or Takeshi. They're all fictional video game characters in this. So yeah, I'm still not getting that adaptation that expands on the game and the characters like I wanted. Why won't anyone just follow the plot of the game? I don't understand. It's right there. Just expand on it. Seriously, all I want is just the original story to be adapted. Why does no one want to do it? Back to the movie. Glasses says that the creator of the Ao-Oni game is from their hometown, and the Ao-Oni has a lot of similarities to how the Bellflower monster is described. She emailed the creator, and he said that he was inspired by the legend. She suggests that they interview him and make their display at the Culture Festival about the game and how it relates to the legend. They all agree, including their teacher. Wait, where did he come from? Later, Weirdmouth heads to the nurse's office and makes strange eye contact with this guy who's leaving, named Tachibana. Somehow this is the only character name I managed to learn in this entire movie, and I don't know why him, of all people. Weirdmouth drops off some papers from the nurse and tells her they're planning to do a display on Ao-Oni for the Culture Festival. He's also apparently in love with her, I guess. Nurse, I am so sorry that this guy is in love with you. Now he's not going to want to leave you alone, and you're going to be stuck looking at this face all the time. After he leaves, Weirdmouth tells Protag that he saw Tachibana in the nurse's office, and he could smell him on her. Yeah, so apparently Weirdmouth can smell people and like track them down by following their scent. It's only mentioned like twice, but this is an ability he has. What is with this guy? Anyway, he says there's a rumor that Tachibana is hooking up with all the girls in the school, and he's jealous since he loves the nurse. So they decide to go talk to him. Tachibana is in the chemistry club, so they head there, but it's in this creepy basement. Inside, there's no Tachibana, but they do find this strange lab. There's a big flower on display, and this door that's locked. But we can see that the Ao-Oni is on the other side watching them. But we won't get to see the Ao-Oni again for a long time. We have to sit through a lot more talking first. The two leave when Protag gets a call from Glasses, and she says that they won't be able to meet with the creator of Ao-Oni anymore because he died. The whole club meets up to learn more details, and it turns out the creator jumped off his balcony. But some of the members are like, ooh, what if he was actually murdered by the Ao-Oni? Weirdmouth did some research, and apparently the story from the start was written down by some old members of the Anthropology Club, but the last page is missing. They figure they must have interviewed the guy who lived, and then used that tape to write write the story down. They get in contact with one of the old members from that time, and he agrees to meet with them. Now, I explained that in a few sentences, but oh my god, these characters go on forever to get to this point. Why are there so many scenes of them just standing around talking? This movie is so boring. They meet the old member, and he can't remember what's at the end of the story, but he does get the feeling that there was a picture of a flower there. But luckily for the club members, he has the original tapes for them to listen to. He also tells them that one of the people who originally recorded the tape went on to get married, but he ended up murdering his wife and then disappeared. The police could never find him, so they were just like, he probably killed himself and moved on. Great police work. The club takes the tapes back to the school and listens to them, but the man telling the story's accent is too thick for them to understand. All they can make out is the mention of a woman. Protag does mention that the voice of one of the old anthropology club members sounds familiar, though. They decide to ask the nurse to listen to the tapes and see if she can understand it, since she grew up in the area. Weirdmouth tracks her down by smelling her. Why is this a thing he can do? She agrees to listen, and they pass Tachibana on the way there. So at this point, the only people left in the school are the club members, Tachibana, and the nurse. Back at the club room, the nurse is unable to make out what the tape says either. Cutesy girl heads to the restroom, and while she's in there, it starts to storm and the power goes out. That's when she hears something loud walking around, and it tries to break down the door. I think we all know who that is! Weirdmouth decides to go check on Cutesy girl since the power went out, and oh my god, he's gone! Weirdmouth is the first to die. I should be celebrating because I hated him, but who am I gonna make fun of now? Everyone else is just so boring. I mean, at least Weirdmouth added something to the story, like his dog-like sense of smell. Oh yeah, and then Cutesy girl heads outside and the Aoni runs up behind her and rips her head off. I don't really care though, she hasn't done anything in this movie. The others hear Cutesy girl scream and rush to the scene to find their friends dead. Other dude starts freaking out and is like, oh my god, it was the Aoni! We made him real by thinking about him! Yeah, that's some sound logic. They try to leave, but the doors and windows are locked. Hey guys, break a window! To be fair, this is actually something that bothered me in the game too. There are just windows everywhere. Like, why can't they just break one? They decide to barricade themselves in one of the classrooms, but as soon as they do that, the nurse is like, no wait, we forgot Tachibana! We have to go get him! The way I would be so pissed if I just finished barricading myself in a room to hide from the Aoni, and then all of a sudden this bitch is like, nope, we gotta go back out there. We need to get Tachibana. Sorry, but I don't know that weirdo. Every man for himself. Maybe you should have thought about Tachibana earlier. Not to mention, he's extremely sketchy. And the others even point this out to her. They're like, if it wasn't the Aoni, then the only other option is that Tachibana is the murderer. Yeah, I'm not going for him. So, nurse, your options are either to stay here, or I'm going to pick you up and use your body to break the window to escape. The nurse won't budge though, so she and Protag go to look for Tachibana. They find him passed out in the chemistry lab, and that locked door from earlier is open. They wake him up and he starts freaking out over something escaping. They bring him back to the classroom and interrogate him because of how suspicious he is. He reveals that he never knew his parents. His father was obsessed with Bellflower Mountain and would constantly go up there, but then one day, he killed his wife, aka Tachibana's mother. So his dad is actually the old anthropology club member that they heard about. Tachibana decided to go to this school so he'd be able to head up to the mountain and discover what his dad was so obsessed with, and maybe even find his dad. That's when there's a knock at the door, and we hear Cutesy girl's voice asking for help. Glasses almost lets her in, but Protag is like, no, that's the Aoni mimicking her voice. Then the Aoni peeks its head in and is like, let me in! I'll give the movie credit, that was pretty scary. It's the only scary part of the movie though. The Aoni tries to break in, but the Protag just pushes some desks and it gives up and leaves. Okay, I'm pretty sure the Aoni could break through that. But I don't know, maybe Protag actually has super strength. Then their teacher shows up. Yeah, remember him? He heard what they were up to and came to check on them, I guess. He reveals that he used to be in the anthropology club and was there with Tachibana's father when he recorded the tape. Apparently, after that, they went to Bellflower Mountain. While there, they found this strange plant, but to Tachibana's dad, it looked like a beautiful woman. For years after that, his dad was obsessed with the mountain and kept going back to try to find the woman. When the teacher heard about the murder of his wife, he knew what had happened, because it turns out that if you sleep with the woman of Bellflower Mountain, you become the Bellflower Monster. Which he did. He slept with the flower. What the hell is this movie? Why is that how you become the Aoni? This is not the origin story that I wanted. So then Glasses turns to Tachibana and is like, hey, you didn't sleep with the flower, did you? And then he gets all defensive and is like, hey, she's not a monster, she's a beautiful woman. So yeah, he did. I'm depressed. And then the movie made me watch it. I mean, it really didn't show much, but it was enough. It was a visual I did not need. The others are like, okay, weirdo, and then theorize that if they destroy the flower, it may kill the Aoni. But uh-oh, now Tachibana is turning into one. The teacher is like, come on, I unlocked the door on the way in. They run, but the other Aoni suddenly crashes through the window and eats the teacher. Oh look, a broken window! Does that give you guys any ideas? No? I hate all of you. They reach the door, but it's locked again. The Aoni really just loves locking doors, doesn't it? They decide that their only option now is to rush to the lab and destroy the flower. On the way there, other dude trips and gets eaten by the Aoni. The rest make it to the basement. Glasses and Protag break the container the flower is in, and then they just step on it. Guys, why would that work? The nurse tells them that the Aoni is coming, and they all hide. It enters the room, and we finally get a good look at it. Yeah, it shouldn't be a surprise that it doesn't look great in this animation style. Nothing looks great in this animation style. The Aoni is scary, just for the wrong reasons. They see some lighter fluid and make a plan. Protag will distract the Aoni, and Glasses will set the flower on fire. That's great and all, but you're putting a lot of faith into this plan when you're not even sure if it'll actually stop the Aoni. Their plan falls apart pretty quickly when Glasses can't get the lighter to work, and then the flowers start to wrap around her. Protag tries to help her, but the nurse throws a working lighter at her, and both the flower and Glasses catch on fire. Protag is standing there crying to the nurse, and the Aoni is just chilling behind him. The nurse says that what happened is awful, but it's not over yet. She apologizes to Protag, and the Aoni bites his head off. She then locks the Aoni up and does a weird little dance. Good news! Other dude is actually alive! Bad news! He found the nurse. She tells him what happened, but says this is actually a good end, and is like, haha, destroying the flower doesn't stop the Aoni. So yeah, at this point, Other Dude is starting to get some bad vibes from her. She burns the tape and throws it over the edge, and says that more people would find out about us because of it. Then some flowers appear around her. So I guess she is the flower / the woman of the mountain or whatever. She explains that people kept destroying her habitat, so she used the pollen from the flower to control people and erase memories. She thought that the Aoni game might lead people to the mountain, so she controlled Tachibana and had him drop off some flowers to the creator. The flowers then forced the creator to jump off his balcony. They show it, and I'm sorry, but it is just funny. Just the way it's animated and the dead silence. Chef's kiss. So remember the rumor about Tachibana hooking up with a bunch of girls? Well, the nurse made him do that too, to spread the influence of the pollen. Someone put me out of my misery. I guess she had the anthropology club killed so that their display wouldn't send more people to the mountain. But I don't know, lady. I don't think a little culture fair display is gonna result in more of your habitat being destroyed. She leaves, and then the Aoni appears behind Other Dude and eats him. The movie ends with the nurse walking through the school when some girls look into the anthropology club room. They wonder what the room was for, implying that everyone's memory of the students has been erased. The end. Okay, what did I just watch? Do we need to go back to my other video where I described how an Aoni anime could be cool? Because we got none of that yet again. I mean, first of all, the game exists in the movie. So right off the bat, everything on my wish list is thrown in the trash. It's all fictional, so it's not gonna be mentioned. The Aoni isn't even the Aoni. It's the bellflower monster, and that's what the Aoni is based off of. We've got sentient evil flowers that can take the form of a school nurse. And why is she just keeping the Aoni locked up in the school's basement? If you want to protect your habitat, wouldn't it be better for the Aoni to be up on the mountain? And don't even get me started on how the Aoni came to be. With flowers. You know what? Nope, we're not even gonna talk about it. Nope. Aside from that, a little over half the movie is a drag because it's just everyone standing around having really long conversations. And the main characters are all actually pretty boring. Like I said, I didn't even know their names by the end. Now, I've seen some people say that this movie is a parody, and some people say it's not. If it is a parody, first of all, it didn't feel like one. Second, that means that both of the Aoni anime adaptations are jokes. They're not serious, and that's the one thing I wanted. And if it isn't a parody, why? Why is the movie more about evil flowers than the Aoni? Listen, all I want is an adaptation of the game. Make the story more fleshed out and deep. Give me the original 4 characters and give them more personality and depth. Why did we get flowers that seduce people instead? I need to go clear my head, so I think we're gonna wrap this video up here. I want to thank you guys for all the support you gave me on my last Aoni video, so I hope you enjoyed this one too. As I mentioned at the start, I wasn't able to find an English subtitled version of the live action movie, so unless I stumble across one, this will be my last Aoni related video that I make. But I would love for you guys to suggest other things you want me to talk about in the comments. I talk about games, anime, movies, adaptations, so if there's something you'd like to see from me, let me know. And if you liked the video, like and subscribe so you can see more content from me. Yay! Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!